pleased to see Stephen doing the hospitality card of beer, wine, and cocktail. He's just, look at him. No, he has been very kind. He's helping in the back because the sauce came in, but so many people have purchased it, thanks be to God. We had to put a second order in, and that's arriving hopefully Friday, if not this weekend, but should be no later than Monday due to the fact of all of the backup. So I'm grateful for that. Again, I'm only going to keep the sauce link up for Plano area until noon tomorrow. And so you can go and get sauce at frjims.com. Also, they put in the order, which I didn't know, about 30 of my books, and so these are going to be on sale in the back as well. So I'm very grateful for that. Look at these plants. And look at the tulips and all that. It was very interesting. I got this note. It says, Father Jim, happy Wednesday. Our family has been attending the 60 Minutes for Jesus via live stream. We've been parishioners in the Prince of Peace community for over 15 years and have experienced the joy in raising our children in this community while also deepening their faith through their education at the school. We worried the church might be running low on plants, so we thought we'd donate a few to replace the missing decor. Our family has thoroughly enjoyed your talks each evening. The Baxter family, Ryan, Leslie, Michaela, Mackenzie, and Matt. And so I'm very grateful. I know some of these are from them, some of these are from others. And so these are very nice plants. I'll have to figure out what to do with them. You know what, really, in Thanksgiving, I just want to say, in Thanksgiving, Father Stephen, come here for a minute. No, really, you were very kind. Hold on one second. You were very kind to run these I want you to have this, and I want you to take it with you wherever you go to remind you of just, here we go. There you go, brother. All right. That's for you today. All right. It's our last night, and for me, the last night is always a bittersweet evening because, you get so attached, at least I do, to the community. And then usually I'm in a community only for 5 days, and then I get picked up and I go elsewhere. And so for me, it's very mixed feelings because I very much enjoy Plano. I very much enjoy you all immensely, and I'm serious about that. It's not that I don't enjoy the other locations. There's just something special about here, and I mean that. And there's a spirit, and there is a sense of warmth and hospitality that not all churches have. I'm just telling you that. Trust me when I say that. You know, when I gave you that report card this Monday and I said, here are the 3 things you need to work on: not leaving Mass early, getting to Mass on time, and singing. Well, some churches, I say, the thing you need to work on is being friendly, is being welcoming, is being hospitable. You know, I've walked into some churches and they've looked at me not knowing who I was because I had come in my shorts and my hoodie ahead of time just to see what was going on, and they were like, sorry, our soup kitchen is closed. Oh, you think I'm joking? I'm not. We had a wonderful dinner tonight at a place called Fifth, or the Fifth. Have you ever heard of it? You need to. I'm just telling you right now, have you two heard it? It's called the Fifth. Parishioners own it, the Bouviers. And let me tell you something. Look it up. Go. Tell them Father Jim sent you. No, I would scratch that, but just go. No, it was phenomenal food. Father Stephen had the pork chops, Father Tom had the clams, and I had the chicken salad. And it was phenomenal. I would highly, highly recommend it. So, last evening, the first evening, we talked a little bit about what Pope Francis has challenged us. To pause. Who remembers? To see and to return. That is correct. And then yesterday we talked about trust. How you have to spend time and you have to form a relationship. And through that relationship you have an understanding. And from that understanding you surrender yourself. Not my will be done, but your will be done. And then all that God asks of us is that we try, is that we make the effort, just like you did tonight. You made the effort to get yourself here. And that means and speaks volumes. And as I've said once, and I'll say it again, by your presence, by your taking the time, by you sacrificing the time, God will bless you 1,000-fold. Now the key to that blessing is that you have the eyes and the ears and the heart to recognize that blessing. And that's really the challenge. What's very interesting, my brothers and sisters, is that the mission does not end tonight. Do you realize that? Actually, the mission begins tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, your mission begins. See, this is just the warm-up. You have a very daunting mission ahead of you. Every one of you is going to be called to go forth and to live your baptismal promises this Lent. But it's difficult to live your baptismal promises when you don't even know what your baptismal promises are. Do you know? There are 3 things that you are gifted with at baptism. 3 things. Well, yes, but you raise your hand, but yeah. See, everyone else was just looking at me because they didn't know the answer. But you did, that's right. One of the things we're called to is to be prophetic. We're called to recognize. We're called to be prophet. In other words, we're even to be ahead of the game. We're called to stand up for those who are done wrong. We're called to look at the marginalized. We're called to be people of justice. What is the second thing we're called to? Yes. Here, sir, you get the... We're called to be... No, you take this one. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. You take what you get. He said, did you hear what he said? He goes, I had this one set aside. Yeah, we're called to be priests, all of us. There's some of us called to the ministerial priesthood. All of us are called, in other words, to be ministers. You heard the story yesterday of the priest who walked intentionally onto the opposite side. We're called to walk on the same side with those who need the healing presence of Christ. So we said we're called from our baptism to be prophet, to be priest, and then to be, excuse me, raise your hand. Raise your hand. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, well, what's another word for that? Because let's just make it a little bit more inclusive. We're called to be leader. Actually, we're called to be ruler. We're called to be leader. So in other words, we're called to recognize what it means to be leader in the household, to be leader at work, to that when we're at the coffee table and a whole bunch of us are sitting there gossiping about others, we sit there and go, excuse me, this is not right. Because a leader realizes that they attract followers, but they don't depend upon them. These are very interesting plants. I love them. Oh, this one's $14.98. Here you go. Are you allergic to it? You don't look too happy. There you go. You're welcome. You're sharing more about your community than I think I want to know. One is saying, I picked out exactly what I want. See if your name is underneath it. Okay. No, that's what my mother did. My mother would put names on everything to whom she wanted them to go to. You know. So tonight we're going to begin with a song. After we sing, I'm going to share some stories that talk about trust, that talk about what it means to live our baptismal promises. Third, what it means to see and to be aware. And so let's stand, mark ourselves with the sign of the cross in the name of the Lord be with you. Let's go, shall we? Maranatha, come, Lord Jesus. Maranatha, God with us. Maranatha, come, Lord Jesus. Come, Emmanuel. Come, Emmanuel. You are light within our darkness. Good job. You are light throughout your kingdom. Sing out, go! To this, Son of God, show us your mercy. Ladies, Son of Mary, hold us closely. Come on, ladies, come on. Everyone ready and sing. Job. All right, men, you're going to do it. Here we go. Send your spirit to those waiting. Good job. send your peace to all here gathered. Men, excellent. Ladies, ready? Ladies, go! Continue, ladies, excellent. Everyone will sing the refrain. Give your hope to all the nations. Give your joy to all who love you. Men, ready and sing, men. Beautiful, keep it up. Great job, people. And ladies, sing after me the thing. As we gather at your table, bless the ones who call upon you. Last time, sing out, church. Ready and beautiful. Keep it up. Sing. Repeat the refrain, please. Ladies, repeat the refrain. Let's go. Ready and last time, everyone sing. Last time, thank you. Here we go. Amen. Great job. Please be seated. I have a prayer request. So I'm headed off to North Carolina after this. And I called the parish, and they said, oh, well, Father, we just want to let you know we're not getting many people at our church at all. I said, that's all right. That's my job. They said, we don't know what's happened to the 30 through 60-year-olds. They've left our church. Wow. You see, when you find a vibrant church such as this, you then have to go out to a church that really is going to need the attention. So I'm going to need your prayers, just as I pray for you. You know, that means I'm going to have to go throughout Charlotte looking for these people and trying to, no, I'm serious. Trying to figure out, why these people, these 30 through 60-year-olds have left the church. You got to find where they are, right? Doesn't the shepherd leave the 99? Yes, and goes and looks. So my day will be spent literally, I'm not joking, in Walmarts and Walgreens, saying, are you Catholic? Are you 30 to 40, 50, 60 years old? You are? Are you Catholic? You are? Where do you go to church? You don't go to church? You need to come with me. That's the prophetic voice. That's also the willing to be leader. That's also the voice of the pastor, of the priest, of the shepherd. the comfort, the reassurance. So what I decided today to do is to give you some specific stories of where God has made his life so evident to me. Where we are called to act. One of the most powerful stories. I don't even know if I want to start off with this because it's probably the most powerful story I've ever experienced, the most powerful encounter I've ever experienced in my life. So as you know, I told you, for those of you that have written checks or cards with your address in them, I write handwritten notes to each of you. In fact, I'm already up to date with the gifts that have been given to me by noon today for this area. And I was speaking in Chicago, Illinois, in a town called Glen Ellen, Illinois. And I was flying directly to speak in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at the William Penn Hotel for a huge convention of Catholic CEOs and CFOs across the United States. And as I was on the plane, what I do oftentimes, if I'm not sleeping with my hoodie on, I'm writing the thank you notes, the handwritten thank you notes. And so I'm going through, and there is a check for $1,000 from a Mr. and Mrs. Michael Boyce in Glen Ellen, Illinois. That's huge. And I looked at the memo line, and in the memo line, they had written in a large font, CELL, and a number sign, and then a number. And here I am on this airplane going, wow. Why would someone put that in their memo line? So you know what I did, don't you? People, pay attention. I'm on an airplane. Come on. I texted them because I have go-go Wi-Fi with Delta, $49 a month. So I texted. I said, Mr. and Mrs. Michael Boyce, I'm on my way to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I just saw your check that you gave me. I want to thank you, but know that you'll get a handwritten note from me. God bless you. Ding. 3 minutes later, ding. Guess who it is? Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Michael Boyce. And this is what they say to me. Father Jim, we're in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We left after your last night talk. And we flew to Pittsburgh because our 23-year-old nephew, Russell, is dying of liver cancer in Allegheny General Hospital. He is unchurched, hasn't even been baptized. Please pray for him. Be assured of my prayers. Ding. Here our Delta plane is getting ready to land in Pittsburgh. What do you think my heart tells me to do? That's right. Go to the hospital. What do you think my mind tells me to do? Excuse me? I don't have time. I can't do it. I don't even know this kid. But remember we talked about trust? Remember when you spend time with God and form that relationship and have that understanding and surrender yourself to God's will and just try, amazing things can happen. And so I got on my Hertz rental car and I took off in the opposite direction, driving 70, 80 miles an hour. And 5 minutes before I get to the hospital, I look in the rearview mirror and I get pulled over by a Pennsylvania state police. And it couldn't be any worse than this, that when I look in the rearview mirror, this young kid gets out as the trooper. That's horrible. You know why? Because it means he's a new trooper. If he looks like a kid, he probably just got out of the academy. Which means, guess what? He's going to follow everything by the book. Haven't you ever had a newly ordained priest here? Oh my gosh. They have to follow everything by the book. I don't know if you've ever had one here. Oh my gosh. And how do I know that? Because, what? Oh, hey, oh, no, not every new priest does that. No, I'm just talking some newly ordained priest. Is he really a newly ordained priest? Oh, okay, so that, we'll scratch that story off. Hold on. No, so here the trooper comes up to the car and I give him my driver's license, I give him my rental agreement, and he looks at me and he says, "Sir, do you know why I pulled you over?" No, I don't. No, you don't give them information. No, seriously, it could be a welcome to Allegheny parade. Why am I going to indict myself? I mean, they might do this to everyone who has a rental car. I said, "No, I don't know why you pulled me over." And he looked at me and he said, "Is there an emergency?" And I said, "Well, you know what? There is. There is an emergency. There is a young man at Allegheny General Hospital, 23 years old. His name is Russell Boyce. And he's dying of liver cancer and he's unchurched." And he looked at me and he said, "Well, is Russell your parishioner?" And I'm like, "Sir, I'm not from here. Look at my driver's license. I'm from Kentucky. I don't even know Russell." And he's just looking at me. He goes, "You don't know Russell?" I go, "No, I don't know Russell. His aunt and uncle gave me $1,000 check yesterday in Chicago, Glen Ellen, Illinois, and I'm just coming to see him." And he said to me, "Oh, so you know his aunt and uncle?" "No, I don't know his aunt and uncle." Stop asking questions. Just give me the ticket. This is not my first rodeo. You could just see his wheels turning over and over and over. And then after about 3 minutes in dialogue, he stopped me and said, "Father, Russell is my younger brother." Where he then escorted me to the hospital, where I baptized Russell, gave Russell First Holy Communion, confirmed Russell, anointed Russell, and then 3 weeks later, with the Bishop of Pittsburgh, Bishop Zubik, I buried Russell from St. Paul's Catholic Cathedral. Here is Russell. One second. Russell. Oh, there he is. And what did I learn? once again that God works every day in our lives. But we have to be open to that. We have to believe in that. We have to be willing to receive that. We have to act on it. You see, my brothers and sisters, you just can't profess your faith. You gotta live your faith. You gotta bring your faith out into the world. Do you remember the story about Kyle, any of you? Many years ago, I had the great opportunity to speak at the National Prayer Breakfast. Have you ever heard of that? And so, here I am at the National Prayer Breakfast. Oh my gosh. The president, the first lady, all of the people you see on TV, all the Senate and the congressmen and women. Oh my gosh, people I agree with and people I don't. But let me tell you something, that day I was running around taking selfies of everyone. No, I'm serious. You should have seen me. I looked like a bishop. I'm serious. I went and I got cufflinks from Walmart that clip on, you know. I got my shoes polished. My hair done at Supercuts, what's left with it. Oh, wow, I was looking sharp. Oh my gosh, here comes Nancy Pelosi. Oh my gosh, Nancy Pelosi. Oh, I got to talk to you. But here, let's take a picture. Okay. Oh my gosh, Paul Ryan. Wow, you do work out. Let's take a picture. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's the Dalai Lama. Ah, yeah. Okay, let's take a picture. I'm serious. Afterwards, they took me on a tour of Washington, D.C., a private tour. I had security and everything. It was great. And then about 4:30, they brought me back to the hotel. And as I'm getting into the hotel, as I'm just about to walk in the hotel, out of the corner of my eye, I see this homeless guy. He had to be about 23 years old. He was obvious that he was homeless. And you know who he was going after, don't you? Me. And he came running up to me and he said, "Father." And I said, "Yes." He said, "Do you have any money?" And I said, "No, I don't carry any money on me. I don't. I never have and never will. I have 2 credit cards. One in Pope Francis's name, one in the Shell credit card. You know, a gas card. That's it." I said, "Are you hungry?" He said, "Yeah, I'm starved." I said, "Would you like to have dinner with me tonight?" He said, "Sure." I said, "Look, over there, across the street, there's an Italian restaurant. Would you come eat with me?" "Yeah, sure." So you know what, I got on Yelp, you know, it was Felicia's Italian restaurant. I'm Googling Felicia's. Oh my gosh, it's a 5-star Italian restaurant. And here the maitre d' "Hey, padre, come sta? Bene, grazie, And he brings me in and he shuts the door on this homeless kid. I said, "No, scusi. No. He's with me." Well, let me tell you, my family's Calabrese, okay? Calabria, huh? I'm Italian. I don't know what nationality some of you are. But I'll tell you what, Italians, you know when they're upset. You know why? Their hands. You know what I mean? And his hands started going crazy when he saw I was going to invite this man into that 4-star restaurant. He put me on hold. 10 minutes later, he comes back. He has a table for us. Guess where he sat us? I wish he sat us in the kitchen. That'd be a place of honor. He sat us in the closet. I'm not joking. In the closet. with the toilet paper, the disinfectant. He put a cardboard table and a white tablecloth over it and 2 folding chairs. The chairs you're sitting in are more comfortable than the chairs we were sitting in. I was never more embarrassed and humiliated in my entire life. I felt so bad for him. I looked at him and I said, excuse me, I said, I don't know who you are, but do you know how expensive it is to get a private dining room in a restaurant like this? And the boy ate, and he ate, and he ate, and he ate, and he ate like I've never seen anyone eat before. And then we decided to leave. And as we were walking out, I realized something. I never asked him his name. And I said to him, excuse me, what is your name? And he said, my name is Kyle, Father. I said, well, Kyle, do you want to take a selfie? And he lit up. He lit up like I've never seen anyone light up before. And I said, Kyle, what's that about? He said, Father, if you want to take a selfie with me, it means that I matter to someone. I said, Kyle, you do matter to someone. Most importantly, you matter to God. Because the same God who created you created me. You and I share God's DNA. And even though, Kyle, you are going through difficult times right now, God has not forgotten you. God is with you. Here is Kyle. And I'll tell you something, my brothers and sisters. There he is. And I'll share with you this, that I may never see Kyle again, and I haven't since that day. But what I can tell you is that this is the face of Jesus Christ, without a doubt. Because whatever you do to the least of my brothers and sisters, you do to me. I'm going to ask you again. Do you know the voice of God speaking in your life? Do you know the sound of God's voice in your heart? And if you cannot decipher that, if you do not know that, you are in trouble. You have to be able to know. You see, I know the voice of God speaking to me because I've had that trust. Just like with that Joel Osteen story. You see, I was like, God, don't do this today. But see, I knew what God was doing. You see, you have to know the voice of God. And the voice of God is going to do exactly what this young man talked about yesterday with Peter walking on the water. He's going to call you to risk. He's going to call you to do the impossible. But you see, with God, everything is possible. I'll never forget, I spoke at this huge convention. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're called Catholic Daughters. And it was the national convention of the Catholic Daughters. And right before I got up to speak, the national regent got up to speak, or whatever they call their head person. And she said, ladies, the place was packed. There had to be 1,000 ladies from all over the United States. And she said, ladies, I'm very sad to report these numbers. Our membership is down over 60%. No one seems to be wanting to join us. Most of us are in the average age of 67. She said, but today we have a speaker, Father Jim. That was my introduction. Yeah. And you know what? I got up there and I said, wasn't that great news? And everyone just looked at me. I said, that is fantastic news. Why? Because you have a mission. You got to go out and find those ladies. You got to go out and live the message. You got to go out and people have to say, I want what you have. And that's what I'm saying to you all. I don't even know what your building project is going to cost, but let me tell you what, that's exciting. That means you're growing, you're expanding. That means that you are tilling the soil. That means that, yes, you're going to have to maybe stretch and suffer and have those pains, but that's great. Who wants to be stagnant? A lot of us. I'll never forget when I was speaking at this church. God bless these ushers. So the church got full, and the ushers were saying, I overheard them saying, we don't want any more. Get out. We have enough in here. We have enough. Y'all aren't even part of our church. Go ahead. I was like, no. Invite them in. Let them sit on the floor. Get the children and gather them around the altar. Don't get complacent. If there's any blessing about COVID, guess what it is? That you have to sit in a different spot in church. God forbid. This is my pew. These were my plants he gave away. Did you see that? I bought that plant for that church. My brothers and sisters, you want to know the difference between ownership and stewardship? Ownership says, this is my pew. This is my church. These are my clothes. Stewardship says, that's ownership. Stewardship says, this is God's church. This is God's altar. God has given me the breath to be able to sit here. And in any moment, God can take this church down in an instant. Stewardship says, everything I have is God's, and it goes back to God. I've said it once, I'll say it again. A church that gives nothing, costs nothing, suffers nothing, is worth nothing. No one, my brothers and sisters, can ever become poor by giving. It's not how much you give, okay? It's how much love you put into giving. Stewardship is the act of organizing your life so that God can spend you. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. You know, I hate yard work. My father loved yard work, okay? And I'll never forget, when I was 17 years old, I decided to do something for my father. I decided to mow the front grass on Saturday morning. And I got up early. And let me tell you what, I don't have an athletic bone in my body, okay? I mean, I felt it so weird today. I was with the cowboy organization today, this morning in Frisco, you know. They could tell. I knew, you know. I tried to act it, but it just didn't go over very well. And so I asked the neighbor to show me how to turn on the lawnmower, and I began to cut the front grass. Can I tell you something? In 0.76 seconds, my 6'6" father, former professional football player, came running out the door, screaming at the top of his lungs, "What are you doing?" And that's the edited version because we're in church. And I said, "Dad, I'm cutting the grass." And he said, "Jimmy, you can cut the back grass, but you can't cut the front grass." And I said, "Dad, I don't understand what you're saying." He said, "People see the front grass. No one sees the back grass." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "James, you don't love cutting the grass, and it shows." Well, you know what, my brothers and sisters? If you don't love one another, it shows. Husbands and wives, if you don't love one another, it shows. Trust me. You can act all you want, it shows. Priests of God, parishioners, if you don't love one another, it shows. You see? God showed us how much He loved us. It shows. You have to put it into practice. I'll ask you again. When was the last time you invited a stranger into this church? When was the last time you saw a stranger in this church and you went out of your way to welcome them, to introduce yourself to them? You got to live it. See, I always carry this watch with me wherever I go. And there's a reason. When I was pastor of a parish, every year my staff and I would go to a convention. And the rule was this: regardless of what you all would do every day, we always ate together as a staff that night on the convention. But on the last day of the convention, I would do whatever my staff asked of me. So on the third, the night before the final day, I said, "Okay, tomorrow's our big day. Whatever you want me to do, I'm going to do with you. What would you like to do?" And all their heads went down. I said, What? What do you want to do?" We were out on the West Coast. We were in Los Angeles. I said, "What do you want to do?" They said, "Well, Father, we want to audition for a game show." I said, "Oh, okay, what show?" They said, "The Price is Right." I said, "Oh, that's interesting. I've not seen that show." They said, "Yeah." They said, it's really neat." I said, "Well, that's cool. What's wrong?" They said, "Well, we have to get there by 3:30 in the morning." I said, 3:30 in the morning? I'm just going to bed at 3:30 in the morning. All right. What do you wear to a game show? So I wore my collar and my suit. And we went to the game show. When we got there at 3:30 in the morning, I was number 140th in line. You know what? I went walking through the line asking, do any of y'all have a job? Any of y'all? Really? Do y'all do anything? Well, it's very interesting. You go through a process while you're waiting in line. They check your ID. They make you fill out forms. They do background check. And then the last step is they interview you 5 at a time. And that's who they decide go that way or get into the studio. And we were the last 5, and they said, yeah, you can go in the studio. And I was like, what? They said, you all can go in the studio. And so we started walking in the studio, and my heart sunk. I was like, wait a minute. We're going to be on national TV. I didn't tell the bishop while we were here. So I called the 4 over, and I said to them, my staff, I said, let me tell you something. I said, we're going to be on national TV. I said, so I want to make something very clear to you. We are representatives of the Catholic Church. Please, do not embarrass me. Do not embarrass our faith. Let's put some ground rules right now. If they call any of us to go down there, you just raise your hand. You just raise your hand. And just walk down to contestants' row. Don't be embarrassing. Don't be acting like a fool. This is our time. They seat us in the last row. The first 3 contestants get up there, spin the wheel. Commercial break. Then comes the next 3, and right before we're about to go on the air, someone comes out and whispers into Drew Carey's ear. And Drew Carey says, really? There's one here? And the producer goes, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when he did 1, a boom camera drops down from the ceiling in front of the 5 of us in the last row. And this is what we hear. Father Jim Sichko, come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. Oh my God! Oh my God! They called me! Oh my! And I push my secretary out of her seat. She rolls on the floor. I jump over her. I start slapping all these people. And they're like, no, go down there. Go down there. And I'm running and waving to people. And I get on contestants' row. And let me tell you something. I never, ever, ever chew gum until that day. Well, Father Jim, Drew Carey here. Where are you from? Kentucky! Woo! Yes! Yeah, so I win. I win. Whole showcase, everything. I give it all away. I forget about it. And then I wake up on the day that it's going to air, and I remember I never told my bishop. So I immediately Googled my bishop and sent him an email and said, Bishop, whatever you do, don't watch The Price is Right today. And my bishop wrote back, are you telling me what you think you're telling me? Are you telling me what I think you're telling me? I said, I don't know what you think. Just don't watch The Price is Right. You see, my brothers and sisters, you can't preach one thing and live another. You can't walk in here day after day, mark yourselves with the sign of the cross, receive communion, receive the word, and just go out and just be yourself. I'm going to sing a quick song, just one. I'm going to maybe do one verse. I'm going to end with this story. Then I'm going to call Father up. I'm exiting. Don't forget there are books. There's sauce, frjims.com. Anything. So both of my brothers graduated from the Naval Academy. And they boxed in the Naval Academy. I told you I don't have any athletic ability. And so my brothers decided to take me to a boxing match in Las Vegas. What do you wear to a boxing match? You know, that's my constant issue. What do you wear? All I have are black and white. That's it. So I decided to wear my collar and everything. It was at the MGM Grand. And would you not know that my brothers got the three of us ringside seats? I'm walking down, and you could just see people looking at me saying, I think that's the boxing chaplain. God bless you. God bless you. Yeah, I'm sitting right here, right over here. I'm sitting. Here is the ring. Okay? I'm sitting right there. All of a sudden, I'm in my collar. There's a huge jumbotron, 10,000 people. All of a sudden, this woman gets in the ring. She holds up this sign. She sees me. She puts the sign down. She puts it up again. She sees me. She puts it down. And then Oscar De La, whatever his name is, he gets in the ring and he starts shadow boxing and all of this. People are going crazy. And then he looks over and he sees me and our eyes meet and he comes over to the edge. And I'm looking up at him and he's looking at me and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I look up, we're on the jumbotron. All of a sudden I say, hold on, let's take a selfie. Yeah, so I come up and I take a selfie of he and I. And then he does this to me. He does this, look. He goes, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Mwah. And I go, Jesus loves you, bless you. And my brother turns to me and says, Jimmy, is that going to help him win? And I said, yeah, if he knows how to box. My brothers and sisters, you got to do your part. You got to do your part. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. O Master, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy. Oh, Master, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving of ourselves that we receive, and in dying that we're born to eternal life. Father Tom?
Well, I think it's very appropriate that Father ended with that song, because he certainly is an instrument of the Lord's peace, and not only to our parish community here at Prince of Peace, but to a whole world as being a papal missionary. That was only allotted to 700 priests throughout the world, and I think you can see why Father Jim was one of those chosen. So, Father Jim, I know he's within hearing distance, even if he isn't within seeing distance, but let us offer another round of applause out of gratitude for him.
My check for your building project. Don't cash it, but here you go. No.
Thank you, Father. Let me just kind of quickly wrap up. As I thank Father Jim, I want to thank all of you very much. I know it hasn't been easy. A number of you told me this is your first time back in the church after a while. I hope it's not your last time. For those who are watching online, as you can see, we are open for business, and we do welcome your presence as well. I know some of you just aren't able to do that, but for those of you who are and can do that now, just know that you are most welcome. To those who are outside of our parish community of Prince of Peace, Catholic or non-Catholic alike, thank you for being with us, and know that you're most welcome here to our parish family of Prince of Peace anytime you can make it. We are open 365 days, scratch 6 days of last week. We are open 359 days out of the year this year, but know that you are most welcome. Just to let you know, for Lenten services, we do have Monday through Friday, we have a 6:30 Mass during Lent. And then Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, we have a 9 o'clock, and Saturday as well, a 9 o'clock Mass. On Wednesdays, we have a 9:30 Mass because the school has their own Mass at that time on Wednesday, so that's the only day that changes. Sundays, we have a 5 o'clock evening Mass, and then Sunday itself at 8, 10, and noon, and live streamed at the 10 o'clock Mass, which no matter how long COVID lasts or doesn't last, we'll be live streaming that probably from this moment through eternity. So, but thanks to all of you for that. You heard Father Jim mention in his donation to this. Right now, just to give you an update on the parish building campaign, we have raised we're just a little shy of $10 million right now from, now 101 donors. So that's extraordinary. We will be doing a general campaign to the whole parish community probably around in May. So stay tuned for that, and hopefully be able to give with a generous heart, as you heard Father give. It's not how much you give, but with what heart that you do give, and we will be asking that you open your hearts for that. As Father did mention, I want to thank especially the young people that are here, the youth and young adults themselves, those with families. Thank you for being part of our 3 nights here. It's been a blessing to have you, and we look forward to that continued relationship that way. You heard Father mention the sauce, how you can order that. Hopefully the next shipment will arrive by tomorrow, as all of this has been caused because of everything shut down last week. So things have been delayed, so your patience with that, but we will get the sauce. We'll have it available in the church office on Friday. If it gets here on time, you may want to call just to be on the safe side. And then Sunday, we'll make sure it's here at Mass. As you come to Mass, just bring your receipts with you to let us know how many jars that you ordered that way. And then you can order his book online as well. I just want to thank you for that. I can't rival Father's being on The Price is Right. The closest I came to, I had to, one of my godsons, probably he's my favorite, or my other ones are, I have 32 godchildren. But he's probably my favorite of the men, was on The Bachelor. And to this day, he and I cannot go out to a meal in public without people recognizing him. He is married now, thank God he didn't marry that woman. But he had wanted to enter the seminary at one time, and that came out during the Bachelor season. He was one of the 4 finalists that season. And he asked, when they said we're going to do a home visit, I guess it's to the top 4 or 5 or whatever, he wouldn't let me see beyond the 3rd showing of the season. He said, don't watch. But I can tell you I knew who the winner was because he got home early and put me under the confessional seal, so I knew who was going to win. And it's interesting knowing that and not being able to tell anybody but God. But he asked the producers if I could be on the home visit, and because it's only supposed to be just for family, but that's how close he and I are. So I had to, it was then Bishop Farrell, I had to go and ask Bishop Farrell, if he gets chosen or if they allow me, can I go on? And Bishop Farrell just looked at me and he says, oh, Clardy, it could only happen to you. So that was my almost 15 minutes of fame. But again, thanks to all of you. Have a blessed night. Thank you so much for your support. Oh, the final and most important announcement, as we talk about the building campaign, probably about the first major event we're going to have here will be, I have invited and booked Father Jim for December 2nd and 3rd weekend to preach the Masses, and 4th, 5th, and 6th of 2023. So he'll be back. So, and hopefully by that time it will be a full church. We will have a chapel off on that side that'll seat about 175 to 200. And then we're going to have audiovisual and other parts of the different, for those who don't know, we're going to be renovating the church here, add a chapel. We're going to add to the school out on that front section that kind of stands out. We'll add a portion to that and redo some of the classrooms in there, the church and school offices. We're going to build an event center adjacent to the atrium area, narthex area, that will seat about 350 to 400 people. So it's big doings. But as you heard Father Jim say, it's a sign of growth of this community. We planned that over two and a half years ago. The parish got together, 4 town hall meetings, 10 focus groups, and about 2 other meetings after all that. And it was an overwhelming decision to keep the church circular as it is, in that sense of being open to embrace people, but to do those different renovations. It was the will of the community. And like I said, it's about 10 million has almost already been, has been raised, and then we're estimating the price to be about 22 million with all of that. But that's it. But he will be the first main event that we will be holding, other than the dedication and obviously regular liturgy. So to all of you, thank you so very much, and a blessed night to all of you. Thanks for being part of our family of faith.